Are we struggling with the Wi-Fi already? I've had computer issues. Wi-Fi should be good. I do need. I can connect it. I need a wire, so we'll see if the Wi-Fi craps out on us. Good morning. It is episode 45 of the Schultze Cast. Can't remember the name of my own show. Cajuns going to College Station. They'll face the Longhorns first. LSU to Chapel Hill. We had Bill Walton pass away. Huge news. And Angel Hernandez either retired or got fired. I don't know if I've seen Twitter in agreement with two people at all, right? I mean, on Twitter, you can't agree that it was, Monday. And yet everyone, Bill Walton was beloved and Angel Hernandez wasn't. And maybe a little bourbon hunting in Texas. We'll see. All right. I am going to try. There's no guarantee I'm getting to Texas. I got a hotel reservation just in case, but I don't know why it took me until last night to realize, the Cajuns are close. Never been to College Station. It'd be cool to see. Found a hotel that's not expensive. I'm not going in for the Thursday presser. And I mean, I'm staying 3 nights and it's just not that expensive. So we'll try to go. We'll see if they allow me to, and technically I'm just a podcaster, but I'm going to we'll see. We'll see who goes. I'm sure KATC will go. I'm sure Foot will go. We'll see if 1037 goes. We'll see if they send somebody there. All right, but it is obviously the closest one to that. So also, there's a chance to go a little bourbon hunting. I haven't been to Texas. I got as close as Lake Charles. I did find some Blackberry Crown Royal, and someone got that. So that was good. Hooked somebody up with that. But I haven't been. I guess there's places in Beaumont and certainly in Houston. Who knows about College Station? But maybe I could find the couple bottles that I'm looking for and stop this nonsense. I don't need more bourbon. All right, Cajuns heading to College Station. They get Texas is in that, and I can't. Why get you now? It's been all 24 hours, and I can't figure out who else they're playing. Who else is in the? It's not. Oh, it's Grambling. It's Grambling. I knew that. Okay, so it's Grambling. So they're familiar with everybody. Deggs is familiar with A&M, coached there for a long time before I ended up with the Cajuns and then to Sam Houston. Cajuns played Texas last year, and the Cajuns played Grambling this season. So I don't know what to make of the Cajuns' chances. Okay, they did not play particularly well last week. Chase Morgan didn't throw 4 innings. Carson Fluno didn't go 4 innings. LP Langevin, I think, is tired. We don't know where Andrew Herman is. I don't know anything about the Texas lineup or the other 2 schools, how you line up your pitching. Remember, it always been for a while, at least during the winning streak, and while they were going at it, it was lefty, lefty, righty. It was Herman. In fact, that's the way it was. Was that the way it was even in the last? No. Herman skipped the last series, right? No, now my memory. Now I got to go back and look. Yeah, because Morgan threw on Thursday, right? Herman skipped that. Herman would have skipped that start, right? That's the whole deal. And Langevin came in, that's where I'm lost. Let's see here. Why can I not remember that? So that would have been the South Alabama series. Oh, you know why I forgot that? Well, I was there for that game. All right, let me see. Thursday, South Alabama. It was Herman. So Herman did, and he pitched okay, got in and out of trouble. 3 and a third innings, gave up a run, 5 hits, didn't walk anybody, struck out 2. Didn't pitch very much. All right. Langeman came up, gave him a 3-run home run. So Herman did pitch in the final series against South Alabama, did not pitch in the Sun Belt Conference tournament. So I don't know what to think, right? I don't know much about Texas. I guess we could find out if they are, righty heavy, lefty heavy. Where's the power come from? And then you could, figure that out. And remember, Herman more of the, breaking ball, soft stuff, whereas Morgan has the same, but can, throw it past you at 90, right? If you're sitting on it, then you can get a hold of it. Although he's only given up 2 home runs this year. And one of them was in the Sun Belt Conference tournament. So you can, decide on which direction you're going to go. And obviously the idea is you're counting on winning, right? I mean, that's the thought process. You can adjust. And the way that the Cajuns pitching rotation ended up going in the Sun Belt Conference tournament, it doesn't matter. They can, in fact, I don't know if you can do this, but you could change your mind if you wanted to, right? Say, God forbid, that Grambling beats A&M. Then who you pitch. But the idea is you're going to pitch your best, because now they can go either way, because everybody, in the Sun Belt Conference tournament was on incredibly short rest. And I'm not talking about 1 extra day. It was 2 extra days, right? Instead of 6 days on short rest, they're pitching 4 days on short rest. Here, everyone's on extra rest, right? I mean, Morgan would have pitched Wednesday and Fluno would have pitched Thursday. And now the tournament's not starting till Friday. And Herman is he's going to be on 2 weeks rest by the time he gets the ball again. So you could change that, based on who you play, but you want your best. And I presume that's Morgan going Friday. All right. We do get a chance to go watch the guys hit today. Hopefully we can sit in the, press box, a little toasty. We will get a chance to talk to the players. We talked with Morgan yesterday. Or no, I'm sorry. Debo, DeBarge, and Carson Fluno yesterday. So maybe we'll get some other guys. See where LP is. Again, based on what we've seen, right? I mean, he was such a shutdown guy for 10 straight games. I think it's kind of like a rechargeable battery, right? Where it charges just as quickly, but it gets down quicker, right? It does that. The charge doesn't last nearly as long the older the battery is. And so I think he's got his stuff for 30, 35 pitches. That's it. I don't know if he can be used twice. I'm certainly not going to try and bring him in for, 4 or 5. If that's what they're going to do, it's going to backfire. I just don't think they're ready for that, or he's ready for that. I don't think. So we'll see. I think the Cajuns, obviously, it's going to be tough. A&M, who, I'm not a big fan of, because, I'm not sure there is a bigger fan base. They're as passionate as a fan base for a team that's never won anything as there is. It used to be, the most overrated team was Michigan, but now Michigan, at least in football, has been in the playoff 3 straight years and has a national championship. A&M wins nothing. And I always joke about, the SEC media days. Doesn't matter. It doesn't matter where A&M is. It's going to be A&M bandwagon at the SEC media days. All right. Even Jay Crane's like, hold off on burying A&M. You got a new coach, and he's got a lot of talent, and we'll see. All right. He's not picking A&M to win it or anything like that, but he thinks they're going to be better than they are. All right. In this case, A&M is one of the top 5 teams in the nation. All right. LSU did take 2 out of 3 in Baton Rouge, but they've had a great season and certainly a shot at winning the national championship. They are the top 3 teams, right? Are all SEC teams, right? It was Tennessee, Kentucky, and A&M as your top 3 teams. So they have a shot. So it's going to be hard. I happen to think that, think about what happened here. And I said this to Foot beforehand, and he was doing this with softball, and now I understand it a little bit more in baseball. I would rather be a 3 seed in an easier regional then a 2 seed in a harder regional. How Southern Miss got Tennessee, which is a nice story because of last year. But so Southern Miss had the best RPI, finished second place in the Sun Belt, and won the tournament without losing a game. They get the worst 2 seed in America, right? If Tennessee is the number 1 seed, then they're going to play the number 32 seed. That's Southern Miss in Knoxville. So that's nice for last year's storyline that Knoxville, Tennessee went into, Hattiesburg and took down Southern Miss in the super regional that Southern Miss should have won. And then you have all the Applebee's controversy, which is fine. I don't know about controversy, but fun. There's no Applebee's in Hattiesburg. Why are we going to Hattiesburg? There was a whole big thing last year about who should be hosting. And actually, Southern Miss got the host because they have a bigger stadium. All right. Or at least they did last year. I think Tennessee's completing an addition. But nonetheless, but JMU, for example, ends up at NC State at the 10 seed. So they got to play South Carolina as a 2 seed. The Cajuns are a 2 seed and they're playing Texas. What's the difference? So you're always going to play a Power 5 school there. And JMU gets NC State and South Carolina. Is it High Point? They may be in the other. Let me see. They may be in the other one. So, I mean, as much as it's a bad. High Point is with Coastal. Coastal's got a tough one. They got to play Vandy, and they got Clemson. But that's still, let's be honest, that's a better regional. You got Bryant baseball. Bryant baseball is in the Raleigh regional. But if I had to pick a team that of all 4 teams are going to get out, it's not because they're better than the Cajuns, although they just beat them, or Southern Miss. But JMU has the best chance of getting out of the regional because they have the easiest of the regionals, and they're a 3 seed. So I think Southern Miss got screwed. I guess the Cajuns could have done a little better if they didn't falter at the Sun Belt Conference tournament. I don't think they really faltered down the stretch. They really took 2 out of 3 from Southern Miss. They didn't do great against Troy and Coastal, but they took 2 out of 3 from Southern Miss. They swept Georgia Southern. Now we're seeing how big that is, right? That's another team that made a nice run that helped the Cajuns out of conference schedule, right? The out of conference schedule, I've been bitching and moaning about that all season long before the season. I was like, they better win 40 to 45 ball games to get in, and they did. Winning the conference was bonus. I didn't predict that, but that would have been a good thing to say. So Georgia Southern RPI went way up. That helped the Cajuns. Nichols RPI went way up. That helped the Cajuns. La Tech's RPI is way up. That helped the Cajuns. And LSU's RPI is way up. So the Cajuns were always sitting at, 105, 115 out of conference schedule. And now they finished the season at like 84. Not because they did anything, but because everybody else that they played did. So that obviously helped. I'm over the College of Charleston has a right to complain. 41 games. Lamar with, I think they had the second most wins in the nation. They didn't get in. My guy at Northeastern, Mike Glavin, didn't get in. I think for the most part, we're really talking about, a couple of teams that didn't get in. Now, having said that, Florida shouldn't have gotten in. I'm sorry. You can't go. I don't care how good the conference is. You can't go 28 and 27. They won like 4 series this year. That's a joke. Florida shouldn't have gotten in. Should Mississippi State have hosted? Yeah. But go win. Go win. Is this about hosting or is it about winning? And you think that the only chance you have to win is to host? So I had that conversation, on Twitter, rather, at least I was respectful, and I think they were for the most part, with Arizona. And they kind of want it both ways. and I didn't call them out for it. I should have. All right. Now they ended up hosting. I didn't think they should. Their numbers don't equate that. They were regular season champs and Pac-12 tournament champs. And I still didn't think they should host, and they did. And I go, okay, no pressure. Now win. No. We weren't expecting anything out of this team. Well, I don't care what you expected. Not you claim that the SEC always gets the bias, so they host and they win and they get to the Super Regionals and the College World Series. Now go win. All right. I don't want to hear your excuses after the fact. No. And when I call you out for having 1,000 people in the stands during your regional, you'll hear it. I don't know if Mississippi State probably should have hosted based on all their quad one wins, but that's, in their conference. College of Charleston, they mentioned, I guess the CAA was a one bid league, the automatic berth, I guess. And they are on Flow Sports. Like, you can't watch it. You got to pay to watch it. We all pay for the ESPN Plus, but we're not watching Flow Sports. I get the highlights because I follow Northeastern Huskies baseball, but I'm not paying for the Flow Sports just for that. And maybe that's an issue. I don't know. But again, we had this discussion with Arizona. I mean, how many of these ADs are keeping up with the baseball more than just getting like an RPI report or a Warren Nolan report? I'm not buying that. You can't, like, watching basketball teams is hard enough. Like, do we really think the committee picking the basketball tournament are watching these games? Most of them have a full-time gig, and that's just watching your teams. And if you're an AD, you have multiple teams to watch, right? Who's watching all these games or these teams? Well, it's their job. They volunteered. Yeah, but that doesn't want, that's not feasible. So you need the metrics, and that people don't like the RPI. The Big 12 figured out the RPI in basketball, right, with the differential in scoring. So they beat down all the bad teams that they play, and they beat up each other while they play. And that's what the SEC does in baseball, right? I mean, Florida shouldn't be in this. Come on. You can't go 28-27 and go to the NCAA tournament. I know they have one of the best players in college baseball, but come on. That's ridiculous. So Florida is probably one of those teams that should not have gotten in. SEC sets a record with 11 teams, but Florida should have gotten in. There's probably a couple of teams, but we're always complaining. So, right, we went from, 64 to 68 in the NCAA tournament, and we're still complaining for the 69th and 70th team. Kyle Peterson suggesting go to 72 and have like a play-in tournament for the 4 seed, which now their number 1 pitcher has to pitch in that compared to pitching against the number 1 seed. You're always going to get the teams that are just left out. And, if you get 64 teams in a tournament and people have questions about 3 or 4, that's pretty good, right? I could have left Florida out and put College of Charleston in and Lamar in, and that's pretty good right there. I would have had Northeastern in, but that's my bias. Although the bias is on the committee, right? A lot of these teams that were on the committee had ADs on the committee, and though they're not allowed to be in on the conversation, somehow those bubble teams all seem to get in. Anyway, all right. LSU, meanwhile, going to Chapel Hill. I'll give credit where credit is due. Matt Moscona, well connected. He admitted that, not admitted. He reported that they were going to Carolina. I don't want to be reported. Let's not say reported because I'm not sure. That's what he heard. So that's what he was told. All right. So you get Carolina, Long Island, Wofford, and LSU. All right. Now there were numbers out here somewhere along the NCAA. Let me see here. And I was a little bit surprised that LSU wasn't more of a potential winner. Someone broke down the percentages. Let me see here of chances to win. All right. The Cajuns were like 13%, 14%, maybe even like 19%. I don't know. It was But then it wasn't particularly close, right? I mean, again, that's going to be a tough one to come out of. All right. Admittedly, everyone knows that going in. Not impossible, but not not likely, to say the least. And as Deg said, it's only impossible until you do it. So they know what they have, the road ahead of them. If the Cajuns can somehow win those first 2 ball games, they have a shot, right? Or do they do what happened last year? So last year they lost to Texas and then lost to Miami. This year, if they lose, they're going to play Grambling, so they should get a win. They should get a win against Grambling. I thought I had that someone did the percentages of the chances of winning, and I can't find it. Also, what's a Norse? How about that? My nephew lives in lives in Louisville, but the Northern Kentucky Norse. I need a hat. I'm going to see if I can get a hat because I've never heard of it. I've heard of the school, but I certainly haven't heard of the. I have not heard of the nickname, so we'll see that. So I don't see. No, there was somebody. Maybe it's in my likes. Let me see if I can find it in the likes. And by the way, I'm the first one to tell you this. I like too many things on Twitter, mostly my friends' stuff. Liked a lot of Phil. I liked a lot of Bill Walton discussions yesterday. Let me see. Are we getting screwed with no? The Wi-Fi is hanging on. All right. Yeah, I just don't see the percentages. I was kind of surprised at the. They didn't give LSU nearly the chance that I thought, to be straight with you. I don't know if I thought it would be 50-50, but I didn't think it'd be 60-20 either. And at the same time, they may have the highest percentage of a 2 seed to win. I still don't see it. All right. We'll have to look for it later today on them. I think it came out. I don't know when it came out. All right. Yeah, but someone broke down all of them and somebody gave the percentages of chances of win. So maybe we'll do that for tomorrow's episode. No, I'm just wasting time. All right, so LSU goes to Chapel Hill. Very good shot as far as I'm concerned coming out of that. What do they get? Wofford first and then Carolina. And so it's going to be Luke Holman against Carolina. Carolina's good, obviously, but LSU has got as good a 1-2 punch as it's going, and their bats are finally going a little bit more consistent. Even suggests that, listening to Foot last week, it would have been, last week. He's like, the way LSU was losing all season long was A, solo home runs, and B, not getting that clutch base hit. And that's basically all they did in Hoover was base hit after base hit after base hit, 2-run home run, walk-off home run, coming from behind all weekend, hammering Georgia and Kentucky, never giving up against Tennessee, right? 1 on, 1 out, down 1 after they were down 3 in the 9th. Didn't get it. I get it. But I'd be watching out if I am Carolina, right? Again, I don't know if they have enough pitching. That's been the problem. And the pitching in the 4th game for LSU. No, the 5th game. The 5th game was actually better than game 3 and 4. Right? That was kind of odd for for LSU. But they got Gage Jump, who I was really impressed with. Did he pitch against the Cajuns? I was impressed with that game. That was game like number one. I didn't know who the guy was. And I just thought his movement, with a lefty with a fastball and some breaking balls was pretty good. And he's gotten better, right? He was the Saturday starter, so to speak, and then moved up to Friday. And I presume that's what we're going to go with. You're just not screwing around with that. You're not the number one seed. I know somewhere around the way, Maneri would mess around with that. We're going to pitch a lesser pitcher because our bats will win. And then we got our 1-2 guys, to get us playing the second best seed in our Baton Rouge regional. And then our number 2 pitcher to try and win it is probably what that would be. Yep. Hey, Arch. Yeah, all collegiate baseball talk right now. We talk about the Cajuns. Thanks for tuning in, Art. All right. There we are. Basically, is there something else that you would like me to discuss? Bill Walton passed. As I mentioned, I've never seen the outpouring of love and how much, not one person had anything bad to say about Bill Walton. I must be the only person who didn't have a picture of Bill Walton. I saw him when I worked at the Doral years ago. I think the NBA was having meetings there. I'm not sure why Bill Walton was there. Maybe in the golf tournament for all I know. But Bill Walton was there. It's tough to miss when he's walking around Doral. I didn't introduce myself or anything like that, so I'm not going to say I met Bill Walton. I didn't. I saw him, but I didn't meet him. Everybody on Twitter had such great things to say about him. All the same thing. Always introduced himself. Hi, I'm Bill, with 2 L's, apparently. That's a funny line. And at the same time, how everybody despised Angel Hernandez. I am not one that likes people getting fired, but when you are as publicly, is it obtuse about that? That's the wrong word. But obstinate, maybe that's it, of how bad you are at your job and then sue MLB because you're not getting World Series assignments because you're bad at your job and the union saved your job for so long. Jimmy Traney of SI thinks that Rob Manfred fired Angel Hernandez, but let him save face, if you will, that he retired. I mean, I am not a Rob Manfred fan at all. That shows a little Adam Silver in him. That shows a little bit of, you're done, buddy. Move on. All right. We'll pay you through the end of the year or however your contract is out. But you are not going to be on our highlights all summer long, right? We actually have, although I guess it's top heavy, Braves with no Acuna now. That's really sad. And he's going to miss half the year next year, I would think. Although ACLs come back fast too. So maybe he's back in 10 months instead of 12. But you have this really good baseball season going on that started a little bit under a cloud. And you got some teams like, can the Astros come back? All of a sudden the Royals are good. The A's are better than they should be. And, can the Rangers repeat? You have this, Aaron Judge is having another fantastic season. You have this potential great baseball season, and we don't need to see all the bad calls by Angel Hernandez on the highlights and on social media all season long. All right. Now you got a couple other guys, the CB Buckners and the Laz Diaz's of the world. So, and I don't claim, and I don't think anybody claims that, it's easy. That's one thing I haven't done. I probably should have done that somewhere along the way just at a practice, right? Can't do it now, but I took BP softball wise, trying to figure that out. That's funny. And maybe just call balls and strikes just to see how difficult it is. And no one expects you to get every call right. They just don't. Okay. That's why we got replay. All right. Some of those are bang, bang, but some of them are not. But yeah, you're supposed to get, 95% of the calls right. No one expects you to get every single call right. All right. And if it's a borderline call, then it's like, okay. But I mean, some of these guys are missing like these strikes right down the middle of the plate, right? And and then he calling strikes on balls that are low or outside, but those are like, they see the box, right? And it's like at the outside corner, but it misses like that much. You can't complain about that. So nobody likes Angel Hernandez, and he's gone now. So everybody is thrilled about that. That's some doing. We'll find out behind the scenes. There was a story, and I heard a little bit of a podcast yesterday. I didn't list this on the rundown, but have you heard these Josh Hader rules? And we may have a new way of doing things in negotiation with baseball players. And owners, right, are all capitalistic. Although baseball is a little bit different than all the other sports because there's no salary cap. But boy, they're very socialistic when they're negotiating with their players. They got to make sure they got enough for everybody. And Josh Hader, the closer for the Astros, who started out slow but is now pitching like Josh Hader, like he was a setup guy, and the Brewers were not giving him as much money as they should have because he didn't have the saves, because they were using him as a setup guy and not necessarily giving him the saves, but he was their best reliever. And so he had rules in his last year of arbitration to where I'm not pitching more than 3 days in a row. I'm not pitching more than, 2 innings in a row. And apparently Craig Counsell agreed. And actually, I think David Stearns eventually agreed, the GM. Like, none of this was personal. It was all professional. Stearns wouldn't comment on it, but the agent for Hader discussed it. And he was like, everyone was very professional about it. And Counsell's like, A, what can I do? And B, as a former player, I get it, right? You're not getting the money and long-term money, guaranteed money. And you're going to abuse me, so I can't go get what I want. And then he signs a huge deal with the Astros. So now there's no rules, right? The Astros can use him as they see fit because what did I sign? I mean, he signed like either $75 million or $95 million deal. He signed a huge deal with the Astros. And part of their turnaround is now, well, both. Part of their slow start was Hader, and now part of their turnaround is Josh Hader pitching well. If you can find that article, it was a long article on ESPN about the Hader rules. I thought that was really interesting because now they are dictating baseball players are dictating to the teams how you can use them. If you're not going to pay me, right? And so few ball players get paid, right? This is not the NFL. It's not the NBA. You're going to the minor leagues. I mean, we can give you an example. I heard on the Scona show, someone asked Terrio if Daniel Cabrera is making the big leagues. He is not making the big leagues. I think he's banged up now, but the kid can't hit 250 in the minors, right? And he was really good at LSU. He's not making the big leagues. Let's see what Dylan Cruz is doing, because Dylan Cruz, right, Mr. Everything. Skeens is already in the big leagues, and we kind of saw that coming. I mean, everybody saw that coming because, 102 is 102. So Dylan Cruz was struggling out of the gate, maybe a little bit cold in Harrisburg, PA, my old stopping grounds. Well, maybe that's the problem. My VPN is on. Okay. Let's see what we got here. Minor league games. He was hitting in the 200s, in the 230s. He started coming out of it. Let's see here. Total. He is coming out of it a little bit. He's up to 258. So that doesn't sound great, but although it's not great the last week or so, the last month or so, it's 280. So he's doing much better in May than he did in April. See if we have that. April, yeah. See, in April, he's hitting 225, and he had a total of 11 base hits in 12 games. Not great. I don't know if that's rainouts or what. He does have now double the games almost in 22, but he's got 21 base hits. So he's hitting 280. Power's not quite there yet. He's only got, is that 3 home runs total? He's only got 3 home runs total. Although he now does have 28 RBIs in 34 ball games. That's not bad, right? The total, 28 RBIs. The problem is, here's the difference. He has struck out 36 times and walked only 11. At LSU, he walked more than he struck out. The point is, getting to the big leagues and getting that money is really hard. And even if you keep on signing one-year deals and you're going from, a couple 100,000 to a couple of million, and then to 5 million, and then to 7 million, that is not nearly what Josh Hader's making now. Let's see what we'll find out what that is. Josh Hader contract. 9, yeah, there he is. 5 years, $95 million. Let's see if we got what it was. So he got, now he's 18, so he got a $40,000 signing bonus with the Orioles. When he got to the Brewers at 23, he's making $336,000. Got it up to $556 and $687. He got the arbitration. He got to 1.5. That was a settlement. And then he got to 6. Still not getting paid the really big bucks. And eventually got it to 7. Got traded to San Diego and now is making, it says $19 million on average. So is that right? I guess so. Yeah. 20 million. Yeah. So 20 million would be 100 million. So he got the big bucks. So if you can find that thing on Josh Hader, it's the way it's the negotiating is going differently now. So we shall see. All right. Got to head off to Orange Theory. We did eat a little bit. Well, I could have saved myself. I went to Chipotle yesterday for dinner, which is always good. And it's not, it's just meat and rice. All the cheese is on that. But they ran out of chips. They claimed it was supply chain issues, which could be another phrase for the truck broke down. So they had any chips at Chipotle. But, Super Genius went to go grab a bag of Doritos and an ice cream to top it off. But we're okay. We weighed in yesterday at 208 after I worked out. So we'll see what we do here. And also, if I do go to Texas, it is there's places in Beaumont to go bourbon hunting. I'll find those. You kind of have to, you don't want to be, I want to be on the beaten path. The game, I'm not leaving until, I guess I could leave Thursday and go to press conferences, but probably not. Probably leaving Friday, but leave first thing Friday morning. And, you got to get there. You want to get there by 3 and it's a 5-hour ride. So what is that? That's 10 to 3, but I'll leave before that. So I can go a little shopping in Beaumont and maybe Houston and probably College Station. There's probably places to go shop in College Station. So again, I'm just looking for a few bottles. I don't know if I need like the Larceny B524 or something like that. Or the Elijah Craig B524. No, I'm looking for the single barrels. That's what I'm looking for. My Weller and my E.H. Taylor. And maybe a couple things you can only get in Texas. But other than that, we'll see. I don't have all that many funds to do that. Oh, in terms of, we may have news on what I've been working on. The one thing I was working on and heading towards does not appear it's going to happen. So we're going to go and do something else and maybe stay here in Lafayette. So we hopefully will have some news on that this week. I'll be happy to share it with you. It could be fun, and seeing if we're going to combine it with 2 things, and that would be a big help. So have a great day. Hopefully everyone had a safe holiday weekend. We just didn't have any weather here. The weather was awful in Arkansas. My nephew was working at a golf club in Louisville. They got it. just destruction of these tornadoes are just, I mean, your life just changes in a millisecond, and that's if you survive. Goodness. So our hearts go out to them. Hopefully everyone had a good holiday weekend. We still got lots of baseball to talk about. On Locked On Sunbelt, we did the same thing. We broke down the regionals. I think JMU's got the best shot of winning a regional. Doesn't mean they're better than the Cajuns or Southern Miss, but they have what could be the easiest regional. And then I think tonight we're going to do FanDuel came out with the over-unders, the win totals. Cajuns had a high win total. I'm not sure they're going to get that, but I'm not sure I would be betting the under on that as well. And so maybe we'll do that, see where we agree, we disagree. I think the win total is basically right on there, but we'll talk about that later tonight. All right, so everyone have a great day. Thanks for tuning in. Please subscribe. We do need this subscribe thing in. We're doing really well with Locked On Sunbelt. We seem to have stopped the subscriptions here on this one. So please subscribe. Really appreciate it. Thanks so much. Have a great day. Art, thanks for tuning in and your comments. Have a great day, everybody. We'll talk to you again tomorrow.